Okay, so the Central Florida area, Polk County, it's right smack bang in the centre of the Florida Peninsula. It's about equal distance from the east and west coast and halfway between the Georgia-Florida border at the top and the southern tip of the peninsula. Now you're going to see more precisely where it is on a video that we're going to show you in a minute. But for those of you who do know the area, it lies on Interstate 4, that corridor, which is known as I-4, 25 miles east of Tampa and 35 miles southwest of Orlando. And as the geographic centre of Florida, there's about 8.5 million people live within a 100-mile radius of Polk County. So it is one of the largest concentrations of population in the southeast of America. Now, to give you a bit of a feel for the scale of it, it's about 2,010 square miles, so it's the fourth largest county in Florida. And for those of you who are good at maths, the total land area of Central Florida is about 1,875 square miles. I don't know how they measure this, but clearly they have a way of doing it. It should give you some idea of the scale of the lakes in the region. We've got 554 natural freshwater lakes, and they occupy about 135 square miles. So that's 7% of the total land area of the county. It's a bit like a giant equivalent of our Lake District here, but with a great sunny climate most of the year. Now, as far as the economics of the area, tourism is the strongest economic force in Central Florida. It dates back to the 1930s and the dedication of a place called Bok Tower Gardens by President Calvin Coolidge. Now, that's now a stunning place to visit with botanical gardens, a carillon tower. I don't know if you know what a carillon tower is. It's like, we have thousands of church towers here with bells. It's very unusual to have those in the States, and the bells actually come from the northeast of England, so there's a little bit of a link there already. But what they do with those bells is amazing. They have some spectacular carillon concerts throughout the year, which are open air. It's an amazing atmosphere when they're going on. They've also got a stately home. I put it in inverted commas because it dates back to the 1930s, which for the Americans is a stately home, quite clearly, but by our comparisons would not be. It's Pinewood Estate, and it is a beautiful, beautiful house, so it really does add to that particular attraction and makes it a fascinating place for children and adults alike, because there's lots of trails, botanical history, rare plants, wildlife, etc. Even Legoland have given a nod to Bok because they've got Bok Tower actually replicated in Miniland, so which is fantastic. So, in the mid-1930s, the world-famous Cypress Gardens was established in Winter Haven, which was Florida's first theme attraction. No points for guessing where this is going, from the oldest to the newest, because in 2011 this is the site that's now become LEGOLAND Florida. And I'm pleased to say it retains all the best bits of Cypress Gardens, from the magical appeal to the under-12 audience, which Cypress Gardens really hit on, sort of on the head, in a way that, ironically, Disney sometimes misses. A bit controversial there, but I believe that. We've got beautiful botanical gardens there, the well-loved Southern Bells, and the world-famous water ski show, all of which are retained in some form or another in the new LEGOLAND Florida. But before John gets to that, as I'm sure he will, I want to tell you about the millions of people who visit Central Florida each year to enjoy our attractions. As well as Bok Tower Gardens, we've got Fantasy of Flight and Westgate River Ranch close by as well, all of which you'll see on the video I'll be starting in just a moment. And then on top of this is the outstanding natural beauty of the area. There's a vast conservation commitment to wildlife, flora and fauna, with various family sort of nature-orientated events throughout the year. The area is also well known for, I don't know if there's any fishermen amongst you, or fisherwomen as they might be called. It's the largemouth bass fishing capital of the world, which includes family-only fishing at some of the lakes. Tenorock Lakes, you have to have somebody under 16 with you to be able to fish there, so they're really well stocked, and it means that sort of children can actually come back with a catch, which is great. There's also thousands of lakes and rivers, or river waterways, where you can go riding on an airboat. Thrilling at the best of times, but when you're actually spotting alligators at the same time, it becomes quite an exciting adventure with children. As Christopher Cragg there from National Geographic Kids, yes, of course, I'm so sorry. He's just come back from there, and we'll be featuring the alligators and his adventures with them very soon. So if you need to know anything about the wildlife side, please ask Chris from first-hand experience. There's also some very authentic American experiences that can still be found, like the small downtown communities, the art galleries and museums. We've even got, in one of the museums, an authentic courthouse from the olden days, as my 9-year-old would say, where children can actually be put in the dock, which I think is an excellent idea. Then we've got Silver Moon Drive-In, set up in the 1940s, still very popular today, and the thrilling 2,000-plus seater rodeo. You've got real cowboys and cowgirls there. It's very authentic. It was actually there set up for the local people. It's not actually originally intended to be a tourism attraction, but is becoming more and more so as time goes on. Westgate is a great place for families. You've got horse riding across thousands of acres of natural protected land, hay rides with the singing cowboy, which is the nod to the tourism bit, trap and skeet shooting, line dancing, and a host of other authentic cowboy-based activities there for the family. So, as you no doubt realise, the Central Florida area has a rich pool of entertainment for young children and offers an alternative family experience to some of the more well-known Florida attractions. And on that note, it is located in most of the Central Florida area, can be reached within an hour drive of Orlando International Airport, the Walt Disney World Resort area, Universal Studios, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. So it really is, sort of there in the hub of it. On to the more alternative activities for the young thrill seekers. Sport, another biggie for the area. Central Florida is the spring training headquarters for the Detroit Tigers baseball team. And it also hosts the headquarters for the US Youth Soccer Association. We had 140 sporting events, pumping in excess of 84 million into the local economy, giving a wealth of opportunities for families to experience a real sports game, a real baseball game, American football at a young youth level as well there, particularly during spring season in March, which is probably the peak time to hit that lot. For golfing enthusiasts, Bulk has 37 golf courses located throughout the county. Family and children's golf at Southern Dunes and First Tee of Lakeland, where children from 5 to 18 can do classes in a newly designed 9-hole par 3 golf course. So if you've got any budding sort of golfers, there's a perfect place for them. And water sports, of course, with all those lakes, we couldn't have missed the water sports. It's long been recognised as the water ski capital of the world, and the heritage of Cypress Gardens, that was actually the hub of the water ski activity. Water ski lessons are widely available throughout the county, but if you prefer to take to the air, we've got skydiving, hot air balloons and biplane rides that go hand in hand with any passion for adventure sports and flying. We've also got the annual Sun and Fun Fly-In, which is the second largest air show in the US, again in March. Great time to go for a press trip to March, in March. The Fantasy of Flight is a wonderful homage to the history of flight, with hangars full of antique planes and a simulated World War II base, which is amazing because you can actually clamber all over the planes. You've got the sound, the smell, it's dark, the atmosphere is amazing, and when you take kids through there, they're absolutely enthralled. They can't believe that they're actually in that environment. There's also there a new high-level zip wire opening in the autumn for age 8 and over, which will bring even more thrills to that particular attraction. There's a lot more information on our website, which is visitcentralflorida.org, about events and attractions in the area. We've also got a tourist information centre which has proven very successful just off I-4, where it crosses Highway 27, called Polk Outpost 27. And that offers all sorts of guidance for passing tourists, and it's close to the greatest concentration of accommodation and vacation homes in the area as well. Legoland have their own bed and brick story to tell you, but to add to this, the county's got an estimated 7,000 hotel rooms and 6,500 vacation rental homes. And the wealth of the vacation homes in the area gives a great option for families. It's an easy drive from the major attractions and the Gulf and Atlantic beaches. They normally have their own pools, pool guards, door alarms for additional safety with families. They're often kitted out with everything you need if you've got children with you, including many with Xboxes and PlayStations for when a bit of downtime with the older kids is required. Also standard are things like washing machines, fully kitted out kitchens with baby equipment. Some of the homes are purpose fitted for twins and triplets, and several are geared up solely for families with special needs, which makes quite an unusual story that you can actually, so they're very well geared up for many different markets. So hopefully this will give you an idea of the wider offering for families in the Central Florida area. I'd like to show you now a video which gives you a bit more of a visual taster, bringing the Central Florida area to you. Okay, so as Ollie said, if you've got any further questions, we'll be answering those at the end, or come and find me after the presentation if you've got any private questions. I'd like to hand over now to John Jacobson, who's Managing Director of LEGOLAND Parks, Merlin Entertainments.